sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Get ready, because today we're diving deep into, this whole legal situation with Sean Diddy Combs. It's a big one, a $50 million defamation lawsuit. We're going to try to break down what's going on, see if we can figure out what the fallout from all this might be. And our main source for this deep dive is going to be excerpts from a People magazine article that really gets into the details of the lawsuit. Now, you probably already know that Diddy is facing some other charges, some pretty serious ones, including sex trafficking, and that trial's still waiting to happen. But this new lawsuit, this defamation case, it just adds a whole other layer of complexity to the whole thing, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, definitely. It's like almost a separate plot happening at the same time as the main story. And it could actually have a big impact on that other case, too. What's really interesting here is that Diddy isn't just suing the person who accused him, Courtney Burgess. He's also going after Ariel Mitchell, who is, get this, his own attorney. And on top of that, he's suing NewsNation, which is owned by Nexstar Media Group.
Whoa, 3 different targets in one lawsuit. It sounds like Diddy's saying that all 3 of them had a part in spreading information that hurt his reputation. Can we take a closer look at each of these targets and what they're accused of doing?
Sure. So starting with Courtney Burgess, she's the one who first made these claims about Diddy having these explicit tapes. The lawsuit gets pretty specific, claiming she actually fabricated these allegations to damage his reputation and maybe even try to influence the outcome of his other trial.
Wait, hold on a second. Did you say explicit tapes? What exactly are these tapes supposed to be?
Yeah, so according to the lawsuit, Burgess claimed that Diddy had tapes that showed the sexual assault of celebrities and even minors. And she even said that Kim Porter, Diddy's late ex, gave her these tapes along with a memoir.
Oh, wow, that is a serious accusation. I mean, that's a lot to throw around. Diddy's denying all of this, right?
Completely. He absolutely denies that any such tapes or memoir exist. In fact, Diddy's children with Kim Porter have also said that the memoir is not real, and it was actually taken down from Amazon.
It's wild how fast accusations can spread, especially these days with the internet and everything. Okay, so where does Diddy's attorney, Ariel Mitchell, fit into all of this?
Right, so Mitchell, she's actually filed a few lawsuits against Diddy in the past. One of them was on behalf of an adult entertainer who accused Diddy of sex trafficking. But the problem that Diddy's lawsuit has with her is how she's been talking about these cases publicly, even before she officially filed the lawsuits. It's like she's been using the media to make these accusations against him even louder.
Is that normal for lawyers to talk about their clients' cases in the media like that? I feel like they have some kind of code of conduct that says they can't do that.
You're right. There are definitely ethical rules that lawyers have to follow when they're talking about cases that are still ongoing. It's a tricky balance. They have to represent their clients, but they also have to be careful not to mess up the legal process or violate anyone's rights. Diddy's lawsuit seems to be saying that Mitchell crossed a line here.
Okay, I got it. So what about NewsNation? What's their role in all of this?
So the lawsuit says that Mitchell appeared on NewsNation and talked about these supposed tapes, saying they've been circulating in Hollywood and that people were secretly recorded at Diddy's house. And get this, the host of the NewsNation show actually agreed with her and even started speculating about hidden cameras, even though there wasn't any proof.
Hold on. So Diddy is saying that NewsNation just went ahead and reported all of this without even checking if it was true.
Yeah, that seems to be the main point of the lawsuit against them. Diddy's saying they didn't investigate the claims properly or try to get his side of the story before they aired it. This gets to a bigger issue about what journalists are supposed to do and the damage that can happen when unverified information gets spread around, especially with accusations as explosive as these. You know what I mean?
Totally. It sounds like they were more concerned with getting a sensational story than they were with the truth. And this whole thing could really hurt Diddy's reputation, even if he ends up being innocent of the other charges.
Absolutely, and that's actually one of the key arguments that Diddy's lawyers are making. They're saying even if the allegations turn out to be false, the damage is already done just by putting the information out there for the public to see.
Okay, so let me try to summarize what we've got from this lawsuit so far. Diddy's claiming that Burgess made up these allegations, Mitchell used the media to make them bigger, and NewsNation just went ahead and broadcasted them without checking the facts.
Exactly. It's a messy situation with each party playing a different role. But what makes this case even more interesting is that Diddy is also alleging that each of these defendants actually made money from spreading these allegations.
Made money from this? Seriously, how?
Well, the lawsuit says that Burgess was hoping to profit from the supposed memoir she said she had. Mitchell supposedly benefited from the attention she got by talking about the lawsuits in public. And as for NewsNation, they probably got more viewers by airing these scandalous allegations.
So Diddy's basically saying they all had a reason to make him look bad because they could benefit from it.
Yeah, that's what the lawsuit is suggesting. And it adds another layer of complexity to the whole case, because it makes you question their motives. Were they really trying to get justice? Or were they more interested in their own personal gain? That's something that will probably come up as this lawsuit goes forward.
Wow, okay, so we have these serious accusations, a lawsuit for millions of dollars, and maybe even unethical behavior by a lawyer and a news organization. This is way more complicated than I thought at first. So what are the people being sued saying in response to all this?
Well, from what we know, Mitchell has called the lawsuit a pathetic ploy to try and silence victims, while Diddy's lawyer insists that the allegations are totally false and that they're just meant to ruin his chances of getting a fair trial.
And what about NewsNation? Have they said anything publicly about the lawsuit?
So far, they haven't made any public comments, but I'm sure they'll have to address these accusations at some point.
You know, it's important to remember that we're hearing all of this from Diddy's point of view, right? This is his side of the story coming through the lawsuit. It's really important to keep in mind that there are always multiple sides to every story.
Absolutely. We can't jump to any conclusions. We need to consider all the different perspectives before we form an opinion. What do you think about all of this so far? Is this a legitimate attempt to expose something wrong? Or is this some kind of planned attack to hurt Diddy's reputation? It's really hard to say for sure at this point, don't you think?
Yeah, it's way too early to tell what's really going on here. But one thing's for sure, this is a story with some big implications. We're talking about potential violations of media ethics, the right to a fair trial, and the power of accusations to do lasting damage to someone's reputation.
You're absolutely right. This case brings up some fundamental questions about our legal system and how the media shapes what the public thinks. This has been a fascinating deep dive, and I'm really interested to see how it all plays out.
Me too. I'm sure our listeners are just as interested in this whole legal drama as we are. But before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I think we should really take a minute to understand how this lawsuit could affect Diddy's right to a fair trial.
That's a great point. We need to dig deeper into the legal arguments and what the consequences might be for everyone involved.
Exactly. Let's keep going with this. We'll keep going deep into this whole legal battle.
This whole lawsuit really highlights how Diddy's right to a fair trial could be messed up. Like, think about it. These accusations, whether they're true or not, they're all over the media.
Yeah, it's like he's being judged by the public before he even gets into a courtroom. Do you think all this media attention could actually influence what a jury thinks, even if they don't realize it?
That's exactly what Diddy's lawyers are saying. They're arguing that all this publicity about the accusations could create a bias against him in the minds of potential jurors. It's definitely something to worry about, especially in a case that's as high profile as this one.
It all goes back to that really important idea in our legal system, innocent until proven guilty, right?
Exactly. Everyone deserves a fair trial without being prejudiced or having people already think they're guilty. This case really makes that principle clear.
Okay, so let's just say, for the sake of argument, that these allegations against Diddy are totally made up. What responsibility does NewsNation have for spreading them around, if any?
That's the big question, isn't it? What they reported could have a long-lasting effect on how people see Diddy, even if he's found not guilty of the other charges. Like, imagine a jury says he's not guilty, but some people still believe the allegations just because they saw it on the news.
That's kind of scary how fast information gets around these days. It makes you wonder if sometimes getting ratings and viewers is more important than being a responsible journalist.
It's a tough balance for sure. News organizations need to get people to watch to stay in business, but they shouldn't do it by sacrificing accuracy and fairness. This case could really change how media outlets deal with similar situations in the future. It might force them to take a hard look at how they check facts and the potential harm that can come from broadcasting information that hasn't been verified.
Could this lawsuit actually set a precedent for holding media companies responsible for spreading things that could be defamatory?
It's possible. If Diddy wins, it could send a message to news organizations that they need to be really careful about checking information before they put it out there, especially when it's about accusations that could really damage someone's reputation. This could be a really important case for media ethics.
We've been talking a lot about the legal and ethical stuff for NewsNation, but what about the impact on Diddy himself? I mean, he's already dealing with serious charges, and now he's got this huge defamation lawsuit on top of it. That's got to be incredibly stressful, don't you think?
Absolutely. No matter what happens with either case, his reputation has taken a hit. It just goes to show how powerful accusations can be, especially now with the internet and social media, where information spreads like wildfire. Even if you're eventually proven innocent, it can be really hard to get rid of the shadow of those accusations.
And then there's the money, too. We're talking about a $50 million lawsuit. This isn't just a small thing. It's a serious legal battle with a lot at stake.
Yeah, exactly. If Diddy wins, it could set an example for other people who want to sue for damage to their reputation because of false accusations. It could give others the courage to fight back against what they see as unfair or inaccurate reporting.
But if he loses, it could be really bad for him financially.
You're right. Losing wouldn't just hurt his wallet. It could also make the negative public image he's fighting even worse. It would be a major setback, both in terms of money and his public image.
This whole case really shows how complex our legal system is and how media coverage can sometimes go wrong. It's a story with so many layers, and it's interesting to peel them back and look at all the details.
I agree. It raises questions about what truth really is, who's accountable, and how to balance freedom of speech with protecting people's reputations.
It reminds us that we have to be critical thinkers. We can't just believe everything we read or hear. We have to think about where the information is coming from, look for proof, and be aware of any biases that might be there.
That's so important. These days, we're flooded with information from everywhere. It's our job to sort through it all, to question what we see and hear, and to come up with our own informed opinions.
It's like being a detective trying to put together clues and figure out the truth. And sometimes, like in this case, the truth is hard to find and complicated.
Exactly. And that's what makes this deep dive so interesting. We're looking at a story that's still happening with a lot of potential surprises and turns ahead. It's a real-life legal thriller, wouldn't you say?
For sure. It's like watching a drama unfold in real time with real people and real consequences.
And at the center of it all is this fundamental question: what is truth? And how do we figure it out in a world where information is everywhere and easy to manipulate?
That's something philosophers have been trying to figure out forever. And now, with social media and 24/7 news, it's a question that's even more relevant than ever.
It's a question we should all be asking ourselves as we try to make sense of the world. But for now, let's get back to this specific case. What do you think is the most important thing our listeners should take away from all of this?
I think it's how much damage accusations can do to someone's reputation, even if they turn out to be false.
That's a powerful takeaway for sure. And it connects to another important point. We need to be smart about how we take in information. We can't just believe everything we read or hear without thinking about it. We need to be critical thinkers, question what we're told, and try to see things from a different perspective.
Exactly. And that's what this deep dive is all about, encouraging our listener to think critically, to engage with complex topics, and to form their own informed opinions.
Well said. So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, let's leave our listener with one last thought-provoking question to consider.
I like it. Give us that final question.
What if the allegations against Diddy are proven false? What can he do to fix his reputation? Is getting money from a settlement enough? Or is there a deeper, more personal kind of loss that can't be fixed with money?
Yeah, that's a really good question to think about. It makes you realize how long the effects of these accusations can last, even if they're proven to be false. It's not just about winning in court or getting money, right? There's this human side to it all that we can't forget about.
Exactly. Like, how do you really fix a damaged reputation? Can you ever completely erase the doubt that people might still have? It's complicated. There's no easy answer. And it shows how powerful stories and perceptions are, especially now with the internet, where information travels so fast and it's hard to control.
Yeah, it's like once the toothpaste is out of the tube, you can't put it back in. Even if you have proof that something's not true, some people will choose to believe what they want to believe.
That's true. Maybe we need to think about whether there should be more focus on responsible reporting, especially when it comes to accusations that are sensitive. Maybe media outlets should be held more accountable for the information they put out there.
I think this case really shows how important it is for all of us to be critical thinkers. Whether we're reading the news or talking about things online, we can't just accept everything we see or hear. We need to be a little skeptical, think about people's motives, and try to see things from different angles.
Absolutely. We need to be active participants in the world of information, not just passive receivers. We have to challenge our own biases, consider different points of view, and be open to changing our minds as new information comes out.
I think we've covered a lot in this deep dive. We've looked at the legal ins and outs of the lawsuit, talked about the ethical stuff for lawyers and the media, and considered how all of this could affect Diddy's reputation and his chance at a fair trial.
It's been really interesting uncovering all the layers of this story and thinking about what it means for our society. It reminds us that even cases that seem simple can bring up big questions about truth, accountability, and how stories can shape our world.
As this case goes on, I'm sure we'll see more twists and turns, more things coming to light, and more chances to think about what's really at stake. It's a story that will definitely keep us on the edge of our seats and start important conversations.
Definitely. And for our listener, this deep dive is just the beginning. It's a chance to keep exploring and thinking critically. We've offered some insights and perspectives, but in the end, it's up to each person to engage with the information, form their own opinions, and keep digging deeper into these complex issues.
So to our listener, we'll leave you with this: be curious, stay informed, and keep thinking. The world is full of fascinating stories and puzzles waiting to be solved. And who knows, you might even uncover some hidden truths along the way. Until next time, keep diving deep.
Sound the alarm. I'm coming up. We'll have a ball. I'm sweet like a buttercup. You're Bobby doll. Show them all